So it says here, which operation can we perform to find the number of milliseconds in a year? Milliseconds in a year. So let's take a minute to think about this. A millisecond in a year. So again, what is a millisecond in the first place? So I'm gonna say 1 ms. Ms for millisecond. 1 ms equals. So millisecond equals how many actual seconds? A milli means the word 1,000. Right? Think of millennium, 1,000 years. Think of that was a Christina Perri song, right? 1,000 years. Millennium, right? 1,000 years. A milli, right? A milli, Lil Wayne, is 1,000, right? There's 1,000 things or something like that. So in this case, there's 1,000 seconds, right? A millisecond would mean 1,000 seconds, right? 1,000 seconds. 1,000 seconds. And it's saying how many seconds, and it's like how many milliseconds in a year, right? So let's break this down. And I actually like the way they broke this down. Calculate milliseconds in a year. They broke out all the things, and then what they're doing is they're multiplying. So I actually really like the solution. So what we can do is we can do this. So in 1 year, I'm gonna have to multiply it by how many days in a year first, because that's our first kind of conversion here. In a day, we have 365 days, right? 365 days in 1 year, and then we're gonna multiply it by how many hours in a day, right? We have 24 hours in a day per day, right? This is, again, 1 year, 365 days per year, 24 hours per day. Not 24 days per day, that makes no sense. 24 hours per day. And then I have 1 hour, how many minutes an hour? I have 60 minutes an hour. In 1 hour, I'm gonna have to extend this. Minutes an hour. And then how many seconds in a minute? I have 60 seconds in a minute, right? And finally, how many milliseconds in a year? Milliseconds in a year. Sorry, how many milliseconds per second is 1,000, right? So I have to say multiplied by 1,000 ms for milliseconds per 1 second, right? Equals, because that's going to give us our question, right? So it says here, 1 year times 365 days per year, 24 hours per day, 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds per minute, and then 1,000 milliseconds per second, right? So we have to do, I'm taking my calculator, it's here, would be, let's see, 365, or say 1 year, so 1 times 365 times 24 times 60 times 60 times 1,000, and I would get 3.15 times 10 to the 10 milliseconds in a year. So 3.1536 times 10 to the 10 milliseconds per year. And you're might asking, okay, how did I get this, right? I got this through this concept of dimensional analysis. So what I would do is I have here, this is 1 year over 1 year, sorry. So years in this case, again, they cancel in terms of units. The days cancel in terms of units. The hours do as well. Minutes do. The seconds do as well. And I'm left with the numerator is just milliseconds, right? If you look here, it's just milliseconds. I crossed out this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm left with milliseconds, and my denominator is left with a year, right? So that's why I have milliseconds per year here. It's 3.1536 times 10 to the 10, right? Or I can also say it as this number here, right? Or whatever it would be. Let's see. If I have 3.15 million, I would have 3.15 billion milliseconds per year, and that's my answer for this question. And they have 3.1536 times 10 to the 10 milliseconds per year. That's good, which means this is a great solution and analysis. So that's how I would solve for this. I'm using this concept of dimensional analysis to cancel my units. You learn that kind of in higher level math, but this here I'm stating all my units, right? I'm converting my units to make sure that my units here cancel out. says here is correct.